Place your feet to hips with distance apart. And if, just as a reminder or a refresher, or maybe first time knowing, find the hip points on your body, the bony parts of your pelvis. And if you line straight down, that line should be in line with the middle of your knees, down to the middle of your ankles, and out to between the second and the third toes. So that is your hips with distance, not outside of hips, right? This is anatomically bone hip is what we're talking about. And if you've practiced that a lot with me and you're like, yeah, I know, do me a favor and just look down and check that your body is doing what your brain thinks your body is doing. Because a lot of times those two things are not synced up. So we start here in this really grounded position. You can lift your toes up. You can shift your body weight from the balls of your feet to your heels. Feel the thing that feels good to you. As you start to establish your foot foundation, so you're grounding down, I want you to lift and lengthen. So you're pushing down into your feet, and at the same time, you're lifting up your spine out through the crown of your head. So you're feeling this oppositional pull between gravity and lifting up to the heavens or the planets, whatever you want to think of. You feel this pull both directions. And this is where we start. So hands can be anywhere that feels good to you. On your body, prayer position, fingers reaching down. If it feels safe to you, close your eyes. And the very first thing is you begin to notice what is happening inside of you, what is happening around you. And today's practice is about noticing, paying attention. So I will cue you to bring you back into this place of being in this moment, of paying attention to what is actually happening right here and right now, because our brain likes to flop around and jump to different things. So today, for this next class, right here, right now, as much as possible. As much as possible, your breath comes in through your nose and out through your nose. Again, I am a guide and a suggester of things. So if something truly doesn't feel right in you, in your body, in your energy, in your thought, then shift it so that it does feel right for you. You can place an intention for your practice. Stay aware of the grounding of your feet down into the ground or just to your mat. Bow your head, sealing your intention. Keep your chest lifting up. And as you bring your chin towards your chest, notice any stretching that's happening down the back side of your neck. And just let it be there. You can shrug your shoulders up a little bit more. See if you can find more space in your side waist. And then keep that space. Bring your gaze up to center. Stay grounded into your feet. So I love to rock back and forth. It brings me back into the moment and also gives me that reminder of like foot foundation, that reminder of what's happening right here, right now. You should, at any time and over practice, be able to lift your toes off of the ground or off of your mat without your body weight shifting front to back or side to side. So once you're able to lift your toes and the body does not shift weight anywhere, that's a sign of really strong foot foundation. So keep your strong foot foundation. Draw your navel gently in just to support your torso. Inhale, reach your arms up. Thumbs go back. Your gaze can go up. Stretch up and root down. Get a little longer. Sip in a little bit more breath and then exhale. Press your arms down and away. Gaze comes straight forward. Inhale, lift, gaze up. Fingers lift up, thumbs face back. Reach up. Sip in more air. And then exhale, hands press down, gaze goes forward. So we're going to do just that a few times, following your own breath. When you reach your arms up, take in more breath. So we're extending the length of inhales and exhales. And you are moving, following the length that feels best for you. So the inhale is really big, right? And then as you look up, you see if you can inhale more. And then when you're ready to exhale, press your arms down and away. Gaze comes straight forward. As you move your arms and as you breathe, feel like the head of the arm bone is hugging into the shoulder socket so that your arms are staying really strong and engaged and you're not just flopping extremities through space. Move with attention. Breathe with awareness. Check back in. What are your feet doing? Are you still feeling like you're grounding down? So the beautiful part is, as long as you are listening to what's happening inside of your container, inside of yourself, then everything you do is correct, right? This is your last one. Inhale, reach up. Get really long. Exhale, press down. Roll your shoulders, shake your hands out, shake it off. Anything that feels good. Oh. So, no matter what you came to the mat with, right? Rushing or feeling tired or overworked or overstressed or whatever, right? Any of the things that you came to the mat with, as we bring more and more attention and awareness into this practice, we start to just push those things off to the side so that you can really feel what's happening here. Bring your arms up to shoulder height, thumbs face up, so palms face forward. Reach your fingers away from the midline of your body. Draw your navel in and up. Imagine the muscles in the front, sides, and back of your torso hugging in. So they're hugging in towards the center. This is a core abdominal engagement from shoulders to tops of hips. Press down into your feet. Take your gaze over your left shoulder. Keep reaching your fingers away from each other. If your shoulders or arms start to feel really tired, you can put one arm down or shake it off and come back to here. That's fine as well. Keep pushing down into your feet. Really reach up and out through the crown of your head. Bring your gaze back to center, moving really deliberately, super slow. And then take your gaze over your right shoulder or towards the right thumb, whatever your body's allowing you to do. Notice the heat and energy that's maybe building in through your arms and into your shoulders and your chest. All of it is okay. Breathe deeply and fully. Come back through to center. Reach your arms up. Thumbs rotate back. Now, if it feels good to you, you can do a little bit of a back bend, but the back bend happens from the ribs up, not through the low back. So you keep pushing down into your feet and think about the back bend happening from your heart. Pull up and maybe a little bit back, maybe not, right? Hold here. Reach your thumbs back. Take your gaze up and back and then press down into your feet. Really nice, you guys. Take one more breath. Inhale. Exhale. Come up to tall and then exhale more. Fold all the way down. So your all the way is yours, right? You can keep your knees bent as much as you need to. Let your arms dangle forward. Let your heart fold towards your toes. That's it, Lynn. Really nice. Move your shoulders around. You got it. Do a quick check-in. Nice, Linda. Make sure all your toes are pointing forward. And if they're not, just adjust. Nice, Luann. Good. Lift your torso up as far as you want to or need to. Take your hands to the tops of your thighs. Right? So hands to the tops of your thighs, thumbs facing towards your inner thighs. And then, nice, Lynn, lift your chest up a little bit. Yeah, now reach your hips back and your heart forward. Push your hands into your thighs. You got it, Gina. Gaze should be straight down. Now, depending on what's going on in your body, you might be like, ho hum, what am I supposed to be feeling? Or you might be like, holy crap, I'm feeling a lot. Whatever your answer is great. Push your hands into your thighs and then see if you can push your thighs a little bit into your hands. So again, you're working in that oppositional kind of push and pull. Walk your hands below your knees onto your shins. And then push your hands into your shins and maybe shins into hands just a little bit. You got it, Sandy. Nice, Linda. So you feel your shins pushing into your hands, and then reach your butt back a little bit more and your heart a little more forward. This could be really intense on your body. So make sure you're breathing and that you're using your breath as the gauge that tells you if you are too far into a posture or if you're exactly where you need to be. Good. Widen your shoulders. Draw your navel in and up. Squeeze, lengthen to your hamstrings. Push down into your feet. Inhale. Exhale, fold all the way down. Shoulders flap forward, head flaps forward, whatever and wherever you land, be there. And then inhale, come all the way up. Interlace your hands at the top. Do a side bend each side a couple of times. Keep your hips really still and let your torso do this lateral side bend. If your shoulders are feeling cranky or stuck or tired, you could always take your hands to your ribs and still get the benefit of the side bend. Notice that the part of your body that's moving is your torso and just your torso. So hips are not swaying with you and your feet are staying really grounded. Do one more side bend each direction. Nice, really good. Come back through to center, release, and just shake it off. You can stomp your feet, move your hips, shimmy it around, move your arms all around, whatever feels good. This is also a nice time to bring yourself back into this moment. So if you started getting kind of carried away in the negative self-talk of what your body is not doing what you think it should be doing, then you can just come right back to here. Quiet the body movement. Shake your hands out, side to side and front to back. So you want to make sure that you're going in both directions. Side to side, front to back. This helps to kind of open up the energetic pathways in the wrists and into the hands and moves chi, which is life force, around. And then you relax. Take your hands, palms face forward, stand up tall. Notice your body. Observe the physical aspects of your body, what it's saying, what it's asking for. And then notice how you are responding to what the messaging that your body is giving to you. How can you, in this moment, find more compassion, more tenderness, more care for what is happening inside of yourself? Soften through your jaw as you move and find this like drawing closer of connection. Sometimes foot forward. It puts your feet flat to your mat. So that might determine how wide of a step you take. Place your hands to your hips and you can feel that your hip points are level with each other, facing towards or out and over your left foot. Draw your navel in and up. You're finding the hug through your torso. Push down into your feet and keep your spine in neutral and just start to hinge forward. You are only hinging forward as far as you can go, keeping your spine in neutral. So that's the determining factor. And then you can push down into your feet a little bit more, maybe soften your knees. If you are a habitual knee locker, then you know that that's you. There you go. Nice adjustments, you guys. Squeeze your thighs This helps to protect and support your knee joints a little bit more. And then if it feels good to your arms or your shoulders, take your hands behind your low back. This serves as a gentle opening through the front part of the chest. Your gaze is out towards the top of your mat. Breathe, keep pushing down into your feet. You got it, Sandy. Really nice alignment, you guys. Draw your navel in and up. And then inhale, lift your torso up. Step your left foot back and shake it off. Move your hips. Same thing, right side. So right foot steps forward. As we work on each side by itself, you may find that one side feels different than the other. So adjust. It's also a really nice practice of when you're paying attention, then you can be like, oh, I noticed that this feels different, right? Take your hands to your hips. Push into your feet, hinge forward. The hinge may feel way different on this side. And remember, you're only hinging as far forward as you can go, keeping your spine in neutral. So that might not be very far. Soften through the tops of your shoulders. And then see if you can just balance out your inhales and exhales a little bit more. Once you're finding stability and that balance of like ease and effort, you can take your hands to your low back. With your hands behind your low back, it's also the reminder to keep the length in the lumbar spine, so that low back area. If you have a tendency to like really overarch through the low back, imagine or picture your tailbone pushing more towards your back heel. So provide a little bit more length in the low back. Even out inhales and exhales. On your next inhale, lift your torso, step your right foot back, and then you shake it off. As you move and hold positions, different things happen inside your body. So you go slow, you pay attention. Stand up tall, feet come back to hips width distance. Place your left leg over the right leg. So you're just crossing your legs. As much as possible, your toes stay forward. And then left arm underneath your armpit, right arm on top. Breathe. Take your gaze over your left shoulder. Move slow. And then rotate your body towards the right. Don't get too worked in the details, right? So your head is looking in the opposite direction of which your torso is turning. And you are holding this position. So what we're doing here is almost like you're wringing out a dishcloth. And as we wring out, we're tightening and contracting some energy centers along the base of your spine or inside your center core. In addition, we're doing a little bit of a fascial release and opening. So not moving other than this awareness of like a strong twist. It also helps to rebalance your energy internally. On your next exhale, see if you can twist and rotate just a little bit more, nothing severe or hurtful. And then slowly bring your gaze back to center, unwind your upper body, unwind your legs and your arms, and just sway your hips and your arms. Pay attention to how you're moving, to how you're breathing as you move, and just whatever it is that you're feeling. Come back to center. We're going to do the same thing opposite side. So right leg crosses over, right arm underneath the armpit, left arm on top. Take your gaze over your right shoulder. And rotate your torso towards the left. Feel the energy of your navel pulling in. See if you can push down into your feet, but then get a little longer through your torso. I find so much of the time that the slower I move, the longer I breathe, the more attention I pay to what's happening in myself, the more, obviously, the more connected I become, but also the more intense I feel the practice is, which oftentimes feels like it's different, right? Because we think we need to be doing something really hard and moving a lot or fast or something. But it's this art and practice of paying attention and slowing things down and then building that connection, this presence of right now. Just a little more if you're able to. And then gaze comes back to center, torso back to center. Step your arms and your legs out, shake it out. Take a wide step on your mat. So as you look and monitor what's going on with your body, you want your heels to be in line with each other. And the anatomically proper wide step is the one in which when your arms are lifted, wrists and ankles are in line with each other. If that feels too wide for you, then just heel step it in a little narrower. Most people do not need to go wider. What happens when you go wider is, unless you're really, really paying attention to body engagement, you tend to put the stretch into ligaments and tendons, which is not where we want it. So arms lift up, palms face down. You're doing the same thing here in the sense that you're keeping your spine in neutral. Hinge forward only to the point that you can keep your spine in neutral. So that is different for each person, each body, all of the time. Good. So if you look over your shoulders and at your wrists, you want your wrists to be in line with your shoulders, not behind. Nice adjustments. There you go. Awesome. So really, you are the teacher, right? Because you're the one that's looking and adjusting and paying attention and making these tweaks that need to be made, which only you know. So it really brings this power back into ourself. Push down into your feet, squeeze through your legs, lengthen through your spine. Inhale. On your next exhale, fold forward. Let your hands dangle down, shoulders fall forward, head falls forward. Breathe. This is a place where, like, if you were using yoga blocks, you could always put yoga blocks down here and essentially bring the ground closer to you. There is no pressure that you have to touch the ground, period. As you stay in this folded forward position, if it feels okay, and you only know if you try it, you can start to move your hips just a little bit, maybe sway your shoulders side to side. Nothing fast, really, really just paying attention and allowing yourself to explore and notice what's happening in yourself, in your body, with your energy, with your thoughts in this moment. Quiet any movement that you have started. Bring your hands to your hips and then draw your navel in, round your torso all the way up, nice and slow. And then you hop, step, or jump your feet back to hips with distance. Stomp your feet out. You can shake your hands out. Observe what's happening. What do you feel? How do you feel? And then quiet the feet. Inhale, reach your arms up. Side bend again. Do one more time on each side. Make sure your chin stays lifted off your chest. And then you come back down through center. Roll your shoulders around. You're going to come down onto your mat. Excuse me. If your knees feel super sensitive, you can always put a blanket underneath your mat or underneath your knees. And then tabletop position. Curl your toes under. Set your spine into neutral. Look and see wrists are lined up with your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. We start to cycle through cat-cows. Inhale, arch, gaze goes up, tailbone goes up, and you exhale round. Inhale, arch, and exhale round. So there is tons of discourse that happens over which is the best or the right way to breathe as you do postures or asanas. Both are fine. You could inhale on the round and exhale on the arch, really whatever feels good to you. I do it this way because as we inhale, we create space in the body, and as we exhale, we find compression in the body. So for me, it feels a little more balanced. Don't get so caught up in the minutia that you forget to breathe as you move. Now take the tops of your feet down onto your mat. So working the feet into different positions. Really nice, you guys. Keep inhale, arch, exhale, round. Good. Now, if it feels good, you can start to move your hips and your shoulders a little side to side. This is a little bit of a free flow. So you just move and notice what happens in your body. If your wrists are starting to feel a little sore or tired, you can come up onto the knuckle pads of fists. That's it, Lou. And then just turn your thumbs to face forward, Lou, so we line up the bones. Yep. Really nice, you guys. Good. Couple more breaths here. Come back through center. Curl your toes under again. And then just shift your body weight back towards your heels. If you know that you can bring your hips all the way towards your heels, cool. If you're like, not a chance in hell, cool. Do the thing that gives you the spot where you feel a big stretch through your toes and the bottoms of your feet, but still in a place where you can breathe. So again, your breath is the guide that lets you know what's happening with the physical body. If you are unable to find and keep even inhales and exhales, then you're too far physically into the posture. Good. A few more breaths here. Big, huge stretch through your feet, through your toes, up into your ankles. Lots of breath. And then you bring your torso back up, tops of feet down, which will feel like a little bit of a reprieve, maybe. And then you just kind of tap the tops of your feet onto your mat. That's it. Really nice. Good. Turn your hands to face or palms down, fingers face forward. We're moving into a downward facing dog. So you push into your hands and the knuckle pads of your hands, curl your toes under. If your shoulders are not up for this, then don't go up into this. You lift your hips up and back into your down dog. Good. So once you're there, you decide how long you want to stay there. So sometimes if you've eaten not very far before your class, you might be like, oh, don't stay here for very long. You can come down onto your knees and readjust. That's it. Really nice. Awesome, Linda. Widen across your shoulders, you guys. Really reach your hips up. Sandy, find more length in your neck. Those adjustments were amazing. Awesome. Take one more breath. And you exhale, lower down. Child's pose. Big toes together, knees open. Round your torso forward. Find this like folded forward looking into yourself kind of position. Even out your inhales and exhales here. And then you come back up into a tabletop position. So the next 3 moves, they're a downward facing dog, a plank, and an upward facing dog. And we're going to play around with what the variations are that look best for you and your body. So you've done the downward facing dog, you know what that feels like in your body. Your plank, hands underneath your shoulders. You can come onto the tops of your thighs. I love this plank right here. Spine stays neutral and your heels pull in towards your seat. You can do this plank all of the time or some of the time, whatever you want. So arms stay really strong. The option is also that you can come up to 2 straight legs. So you can choose whichever you want. I love tops of thighs because it really allows me to stay strong through my core. The up dog variation, we're going to start from tops of thighs just so we see it and do it together. Is you pull your belly in, start to lower your hips down, keep your chest lifted, and then straighten your legs down, really squeeze through the glutes. So tightening through the glutes allows the low back to stay long. Really nice, Lynn. Yes, beautiful. And then from there, you would curl your toes under and lift up and back into your down dog. So these are 3 moves done in succession. Does not mean done fast, although you could if you want to. It depends on what your body is giving you. Does it need more heat? Does it need a little bit more? Sometimes it's easier to pay attention if we're just doing something that feels really hard. Excuse me. So you are moving at a pace that feels good to you. You start with a plank. Tops of thighs is amazing. And then you lower your hips down, keep your arms strong, straighten your legs, tighten your glutes. Big opening through the chest and into the back body. And then down dog. Really nice. At any point, I'm going to say it louder for those of you that weren't paying attention. At any point, you pause, you find child's pose, you can go to tabletop. At any point, these are options for you. There is nothing anywhere right now that says you have to keep going or that you're not allowed to find rest. And most importantly, is the practice of finding and feeling what is happening with your body, with your thoughts, with your energy and your emotions right now. I love those options you guys are taking. Love, 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 love. Big round of applause. You move as it feels good for you. So if you're still moving, you do 1 more round, and then we're all going to meet in child's pose. So when you're finished with this cycle, you find yourself in child's pose. And that could be the permission right there to be like, oh, I'm done with this cycle. Perfect. What is happening in yourself right now? When we allow ourselves the time to pay attention, to notice, to breathe, and to just be with what is, sometimes that can feel really scary. If you find yourself kind of on that edge of not feeling great, then change something. Open your eyes, change your body position, pay attention to a sound around you. This practice of coming inward and paying attention takes a lot of freaking work. And if it's not something that we're actually paying attention to on a daily basis, like brushing your teeth in the morning, right? Then sometimes it just feels way harder than others. All of that's okay. This is the practice that we choose to be part of. Take one more breath here. And then you'll slowly lift yourself up and come up to a seated position. So this is where I would love to use a blanket. You could also sit on a chair if sitting down on the ground doesn't feel good to you. So knees are bent, feet are on the floor. Grab your hands to the outside of your shins, so below your knee joint. And then we're going into a modified cat-cow. So back into that spinal wave, just from a seated position. So the difference here is when you inhale, pull your chest up, let your knees go wider. You can really pull the heart and chest through. And then exhale, knees come back to center, round way back. Really nice. Yeah, so you can do this seated in a chair too. Your hands would just be on your knees, and you could still do that undulation of the spine. Awesome. I feel like, especially in this modified cat-cow version, it's easier to breathe if I'm breathing in like sync with my body. So this round way back just feels more natural for an exhale. And as you lift up and find space and expansion, that feels more natural to me for an inhale. If you're not sure, try it both ways and see what works. Sometimes trying it in a different way is just enough of a come back to paying attention that we need. As you lean back, really tuck your tailbone under, pull your belly in, almost as if you would fall back if you weren't holding on to your shin. As the body starts to acclimate to being opening and expanding and contracting and folding, you might notice or feel the urge to stay in a position for longer than just the inhale or longer than just the exhale, and that's totally cool. Again, here in these moments, your practice, your goal is to pay attention. Good. So you have a couple more movements here. And then on your next inhaler, on your next expansion, as the knees open, bring the soles of your feet together, and hands can stay on your shins, sit up tall, and now you find yourself in a Baddha Konasana or in a butterfly pose. From here, your knees, no pressure to be on the ground. If this position feels too tight in your hips or on your knees, you can always take your ankles and heels a little further away so that you make the diamond a little bit bigger. And then from here, this position, you're just going to rock from side to side. Keep your torso tall. Your knees might move with you. It's fine. In this moment, it feels okay for you. You could imagine that you were just like maybe on a sorry, Snoop, in a hammock. Sorry, somebody walked by. Come here, Snoop. In a hammock or on a swing, and just very gently swaying from side to side. Come back through to center. Extend your legs out now to your wide straddle. And then start to move your ankles around. Spread your toes wide. From here, take your torso over. And how far your torso goes to the left is dependent upon your ability to keep your right hip down. So that might be hand on the upper thigh, could be anywhere in between. You're going to hold this side body stretch. And you can play around with where your gaze goes. And even, yeah, you could lift your arm up and over just to reach longer. I would recommend trying all of them as long as you are moving with lots of attention. Pushing your body or joints into a position that's good for you. Notice that your systems stay grounded. Let yourself feel all of the things. The really cool thing that happens in the body is that once you get into a position, the body goes through different phases or layers of like opening and expanding. So you can get into this stretch and feel like, oh, that feels like a good stretch. And then as you breathe into that space and let the body settle into it, you'll find different layers and it can be really interesting. As long as we're paying attention, we find all kinds of interesting things. Take an inhale, lift your torso up. You're going to move really slow. Adjust however you need to. And then on your next exhale, you'll go towards the right leg. Be aware, and especially there's no sort of expectation that I should be exactly the same as I was on the other side. So when you pay attention, you can make smarter choices for yourself. And smarter in the sense that they're more aligned with what's in your best interest. Soften your jaw. If you can expand a little or a lot. On your next inhale, lift your torso up. Come back through center. Really tall, really strong. Bring your legs back together, whatever way feels good. Maybe butterfly stretch feels good. And from here, then you're going to lay down onto your back. Keep your knees bent. Feet are on the floor. And arms at right now can be any position that feels good to you. So hands can be at butterfly, your arms can be down to the side or out to a T. Start to allow your thighs and your shins to just gently windshield wiper from side to side. Your hips will certainly lift here, that's okay. Just keep your shoulders down and your gaze should stay straight up. So, and a nice like cervical spine strengthening or neck strengthening opportunity here is just gently press the back of your head into your mat. And it could, if you're paying attention, change the sensation down the length of your spine. But at the very least, what it does is help to strengthen the muscles in the back of your neck. Hold your legs over towards the left and keep your shoulders down and just breathe. If you're feeling a big stretch and opening down the right side, pay attention to the sensations and then maybe take a little more awareness of your breath to that area. So with your legs towards the left, take your left arm and reach it over your chest. So now your arms are both reaching towards the right, and your gaze can go over towards the right as well. So again, finding some of that like ringing out sensation down the middle energetic line of your body. Deepen your breath. Inhales and exhales are as balanced and even as possible. Bring your left arm back to center. So left shoulder comes down, gaze goes up, and then knees come up one leg at a time, I think is a little more gentle. You can adjust or stretch as you need to. And then take your legs to the right. We're going to hold that position for several breaths. Again, you could push into the back of your head. All of these things simply meant to be and act as cues to help you become more in touch with what's happening inside of your body. If you feel something that needs extra breath or extra attention, please give yourself that gift. And then take your right arm, reach it towards the left. Both arms reaching towards the left. Gaze can come towards the left as well. Finding this inner spiral rotation. Observe your inhales and exhales. Allow yourself to feel balanced and grounded. Allow yourself to feel present in this moment. Last breath here. Take your right arm over and back to center, gaze to center, and then lift one leg up at a time. Push down into your feet, tuck your tailbone under, and then lift your hips into a bridge pose. If you have a yoga block handy, you can place it underneath your hips. You could also push your arms down into the mat to kind of give you a little more lift. And if you do the arms, so you can make fists like knuckles facing up, push down into the backs of your arms, and you might feel a little bit of an opening through the thoracic spine here, so the middle of your back. Just a couple of breaths here. On your next exhale, slowly roll down one vertebra at a time. So lots of control and attention. Draw both knees into your chest once you're all the way down. And then you can grab onto your knees or your shins and rock a little side to side. Let your legs open up and get heavy. So you're spending several breaths here just in this hip opening opportunity space. You could hold your knees out to the side and rotate your ankles around. And you can do a little bit of everything just to choose your own adventure here. However, you are making those choices out of love and support of yourself and giving yourself permission to, if you start something and all of a sudden it doesn't feel right, that you can then stop it. Make sure you are getting some ankle movement around and that you're moving the ankles in both directions. You have a couple more breaths here. Really nice. Make your way up to a seated position. We'll do some breathing practices. So you can stay seated on a chair, you can stay on the ground, legs cross-legged or out to a wide straddle, or not a wide straddle, whatever feels good to you. Take your hands to the tops of your knees or your thighs, palms face up. Lengthen your spine. If it feels good and safe to you, you can close your eyes or just lower the gaze. So you can look down like at the edge of your mat or something. Soften through your jaw. Press your tongue up into the roof of your mouth. And now your breath is in and out through your nose. This is a different sort of breathing practice. So if it feels like you're not getting enough breath or you need to switch it every once in a while, you can like breathe through your mouth and then just come back to the practice. So for the breathing practice part, you'll do timed breathing and it will be an even breath count. So you can do 3 or 4 or 5 as your number, depending on how your breath is feeling. Your inhale, hold, and exhale are all the same count. So whatever number you choose, let it be attainable and successful for you. You inhale, hold, and exhale, the same count on all of them. And again, breath is in and out through the nose as much as possible with your tongue almost like it's suctioned up into the upper palate of your mouth. If it helps you to pay attention to your count, you can count in your brain silently. Also, you can tap your fingers to your thumb as your count. Again, inhale, hold, and exhale at the same count. As you settle into the rhythm of this pranayama, this breathing practice, you can extend your count if that feels good to you. You can also keep it right where you started. If and when you notice that your thoughts are jumping around, come back to the count. Come back to the feeling of inhale, to the experience of the hold, and to the letting go on your exhale. Do one more full cycle of this breath. And then when you're finished with the breath cycle, you can open your eyes, extend your left arm forward, turn your fingers to face down, and then you can grab onto the fingers to pull. So depending on your body, this may feel like a very intense place to be right here. You can soften the elbow if you need more space. This is an amazing stretch for the palm into the wrist and up the forearm. You may at any time choose to stay here or come back to here. With your fingers pointing down in this big flexed position, you're going to start to move your arm around, and maybe the fingers move to the side. Maybe your arm moves up. This is very, very slow, really opening up through the fascia connective web inside your body and allowing these small areas that get a lot of work an opportunity to open. You can move your thumb around. Yeah. Good. One more breath. And you exhale, release, shake it off. If you do work with your hands a lot, this is a big opener. You might feel like, whoo, right arm out. You can flex. If pulling down on your fingers doesn't feel accessible to you, you can just push down. You could also even take your fingers down to the mat and use that as like the push down. So there's really lots of different ways that you can do this and make it accessible for you in your body in this moment. You can start to move your thumb, start to move very slowly, really paying attention. Fingers, arms. You want to keep the flex of your hand. And if pushing your fingers down doesn't feel good to you at all, and you're like, there's no way I can do this in my body, you could still just do even more of like a straight arm or straight hand, and then just move the arm around as well. So starting to open up and move into this connective tissue area. Good. Last breath. You come back through center, let go and shake it off. Front to back, side to side. Lie down on your back, extend all the way down for Shavasana. Allow your big toes to fall open, palms face up. So this is the most important asana or posture of your practice. And it is the one in which you signal to your nervous system that now is the time to integrate and take all of this practice of paying attention and fill yourself up. So take a big inhale, stretch, and exhale, just get heavier into the floor or the ground or your mat. Find yourself in a state of being absolutely supported. And at the same time, you feel grounded and supported. You feel light and lifted. Allow your spirit to feel lifted. And then in this space, you find rest. Here where you soften and you receive. Begin to bring your awareness into yourself. You can start to move your fingers and your toes. Take deeper breaths. Very gently, just beginning to come back into this space. Bend your knees. Roll onto the right side of your body. Curl into a ball. Give yourself a hug. Thank you, body. Thank you, space. Thank you, mat. Thank you, breath. And then use your arms and come up to a seated position. Take your hands, thumb to collarbone, fingers to the outside towards your shoulders, and then you cross your hands over each other. And we're just going to alternate tapping. So right hand, left hand. And really just helping to bring the body back into balance, back into a more harmonious place. Bringing the central nervous system back online and in line. Do one more each side. And then quiet the movement. You are welcome to leave your hands right where they are. You could bring your hands to prayer position or one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly, whatever feels good to you. As we take this moment in closing of our yoga practice to give gratitude for the time that you took, for the attention that you paid, for the space that was welcoming and safe for you to do these things, the community and the connection that allowed you to be present in these moments. And so fill up with gratitude, with love. Take a full breath in. And as you exhale, just thank you, thank you, thank you. One more time, inhale and exhale. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I give my thanks to you for all of these things, for this space, and for allowing me to share just energy and connection with you. Thank you so much.